Kako. My name is Christophor Oliveira from Hawaii. And this video is on behalf of Tasi Pasefika. And just to share with you folks a little bit about us here in Waianae, Hawaii, on the island of Oahu. Our philosophy was guided by a concept that we call ka'ananiau. Ka'ananiau means to manage the rolling beauty of time. It emphasizes the importance on our stories and carrying our traditions forward through mechanisms and analogs like the mountains, the winds, the currents. Ka'a means to manage. In the masculine sense, ka'a also means rolling or cycles in the feminine sense. Nani means beautiful, not like an image of a person, but like the heavens, like lani. And the final word, ao, means a channel. Ao is the pronoun I, and ao also is infinite time. So ka'ananiau, to manage the rolling beauty of time. So thank you. I believe Joe will be sharing the chant with you folks at one of our temples as well as the video. So aloha, ahuiho, mahalo. So our philosophy here in Waianae is an old philosophy. Kamehameha won the war between our people. So that island culture has been pretty dominant. Our cousins' culture is pretty dominant. But prior to that, we had a different system here in Waianae. It was called ka'ananiau. And ka'ananiau means to manage the rolling beauty of time. So ka'a means to manage in a masculine sense. So the cycle of, if I plant taro, I harvest and I eat poi. That cycle, there's a cycle in managing. The cycle of the heavens moving, that's the feminine cycle. The rolling north, that's another cycle. So when we're saying ka'a, we're saying managing of cycles, because that's how cycles continue. And then the middle word is nani. It means beautiful, but it means beautiful like the heavens, because we believe that the stars manage our time here. They manage our seasons. They manage our calendar. I mean, the calendar comes from the zodiac and the sun. And then the final word, often the most smallest words carry the heaviest meanings. The word ao. Ao for us means infinite time. The infinite time, not the epic of time, but the infinite time, the forever. Ao also means a channel, the awai, which brings the water to the loi. And the most important ao for us is the pronoun I. So to make it easier to translate, we say to manage the rolling beauty of time. But when you start looking into the words, obviously there's so much more that goes in with that.
Yes.
And I wanted to speak to you folks on this temple right here that we sit on. This is called Kane Ilio. And this temple is an example of a ka'ananiau. We often talk about heiau in Hawaii. Well, in Oahu, we did not sacrifice. We had ka'ananiau. These temples mark time and space for us to manage our generations through the seasons. And so when we look at this temple called Kane Ilio, our kupuna was so genius that we didn't need paper to keep our information. We had the stars. So this temple says Kane Ilio. And we always look, we're navigators. So ka'ananiau tells me, look to the sky. Look to the sky on equinox, on the center season. You know, it's so beautiful at nighttime when the sun goes down. We call this temple Kane Ilio. You look up at the sky right above me, and you will see Canis Major and Orion. Kane and Ilio. Marking space and time for the future through timeless. The mountain you see behind me right here, this is where the Kunaloa, the Tunaloa and Hina story from Samoa, from the Tuamotus, from everywhere, they exist in our landscapes in Waianae. In our stories, we believe that the chiefs, they disseminated from here, spread their genealogies, came back, and we egress and ingress for millennia. Not 2,000 years. In our story, the Hawaiians who came found the people who were already here. They were called the Menehune, or the Namu, or the people of these types of temples. The temples without walls. And when we look at ka'ananiau again, I just wanted to share about, even the temple is the language. Look, you have temples in Hawaii Island, they have walls, high walls. This temple, you see me, everybody can see where I stay. What is that telling us about the society? How do we manage time? Very open, no secrets. Everybody knew, no separation between the Ali'i and the Maka'ainana. Then you go to other islands. I like to talk about this and make sure that we talk about how dynamic our people were. Oftentimes we'll recognize Oni Aloha.
Yes.
And we'll act like we weren't a full people. We had our issues. We had wars with each other. We were killing our families just like they were killing each other over there. You know? And until we recognize that, we'll only go conveniently to the past where we're not the enemy of ourselves. Yeah, nice. To move on from the pain and to actually learn about change. Oh, this is so beautiful. You guys see what's happening? The rain coming to my...
Blessing.
Yeah, very much a blessing. Oh, a blessing for me. Some confirmation.
Blessings, brother. Hey, brother Chris, that was amazing sharing, brother. That was very amazing, you know. And it's just how you know, like with the connection that you brought out, like, and even some of the words that you speak about, like even with the Ali'i in our Samoan culture, and also with Kama'aina, we have Tama'aina, you know, in Samoa.
My brother, yeah. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show. Yes. Oh, I wish you guys were here with me. I'm gonna show you guys something. I went go find one secret about our people, guys.
Yes.
We so much more related than we ever would have thought. I mean, I never thought otherwise, because that's what our kupuna said. Our kupuna said that we're all the same people. I don't know why. We all from the same Ali'is.
Yes.
These chiefs, they went around the world and planted their seed. Yeah? So when we have a consistent language, when F and when H, when O and when A changes, you know, that's called a dialect of a people.
There you go.
Not a different language. And you can all the way, even Fiji, if you go and just say hiki, you know what I mean? Like, all our people are the same. It's really coming down right now, my brother.
Yes, definitely.
I just wanted to tell you guys, this is the women's house where the women go. The Haleo Papa. We were up at the men's house. And just to finish, Western culture will tell us, the women went low and the men went high because of mana. I will tell you, that is dead wrong. The women went low to the earth because they went with Mother Earth. The men went high on the temple because they went with Father Sky.
Wow.
There was the reason. It wasn't because hierarchy. It was because the women go with mom and the men go with dad.
With dad.
Yeah. Like we forget that our people saw us. We are directly related to this Aina. I never have to pray and in prostration. I'm a good child. My parents take care of me. Yeah.
Yes.
And when you understand that we are a child of this earth, you understand when you act up and the earth puts you in predicaments where you got to take care of yourself. If you don't like follow the rules in the house, your parents say, right? You think you're grown, go do it yourself. That's how I see the universe. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm a good child.
Hey, brother Chris, amazing sharing. All right, I'm going to hand it over to my team. This is our Q&A section right now. And if there's any question we have for brother Chris, or do we have any sharing as well that can connect with my great brother Chris? Mikey?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for sharing a profound knowledge and story of your people and place and your journey amongst it. It's really fascinating, and I think all, like you said, all Pasifika people are connected and have similar roots. I think there's a lot of sentiment here that people can reflect on and also use to empower themselves. I really found some of these concepts interesting. Often in Pacific politics, at least from my perspective, I could totally be wrong. And we try to find ways to divide us. This is a Western thing, put us all into little boxes. we're actually, if you find common ground or common stories amongst people, then you start to see they form strong bonds and relationships and, networks, if you wanted to use a professional term. But, really it's about like finding this friendships amongst each other, and that creates power and, power and mana for people to achieve, to solve problems perhaps, or to achieve greater things. We're stronger together. And I think that's probably what, you were getting to at a certain point. But at the same time, this concept of rolling with the times, and another point you mentioned there of that, we often look back at histories, at the good parts, to not resolve, so we're not at war with ourselves. Something that you mentioned in Hawaiian history. Well, a lot of people do the same thing. I'm very interested in this concept of like truth telling. If a Palangi fella like myself and others, if we're not able to look back at the past, okay, I can only make sense of everything by looking back, but I can only move forward by looking forward, right? It's like this deeply profound thing that if you hold on to, you realize that a lot of people often carry like a lot of hurt or a lot of understanding or a lot of perhaps ignorance, in the Western context, to say, hey, we achieved great things. It's not often the case, or it's not always the case. And I think that, there's a lot of synergies here that you're sharing that, we could use to steer our own journey to do better on an individual and on a community or a whole Pacific level. And I found that really profounding and empowering. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for such a comprehensive look at what I was saying. Sometimes you speak, you don't know if people are hearing it. No, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for saying that.
Thank you. I'm gonna send it over to my sister over there.
I was just looking at the challenge, the second bonus, which was about exchanging a common phrase of empowerment or inspiration in your preferred languages. And so I was just along that lines, probably
yeah. We say this. Eku e ola.
Oh.
Eku e ola. Stand and live.
Yes. Eku e ola.
Eku e ola.
Eku e ola.
Yeah.
What would be a Samoan phrase for the similar thing?
Yeah, tu maola.
Tu maola. Yeah.
Tu maola. The same thing. Tu maola.
Same thing.
Tu maola. Okay, I have to go in.
I think they say tu maola too.
Yep.
When we say we Polynesian, we people of the world. I believe we come from an old world with an old story. And the reason why we hold it better than anybody else was because of our isolation.
Awesome.
We didn't have anybody taking over.
Awesome.
We kept the original version. And I have proof on Google Earth. Nobody can argue with me. You got to argue with the stars, the moon, and the sun, and the mountains. Not mine. Yeah?
There you go. Hey, thank you so much. I believe we have come to our closing remarks. So on behalf of our team, Tasi Pasefika, Brother Chris, congratulations again for connecting with the United Nations over in Geneva. Brother, man, you are blessed, So that's you are blessed, brother. And over to my team. If you guys have any other last closing remarks, Brother Mikey, our sister Rivera.
No, thank you so much for your time, Chris. I wish you all the best on your journey here and beyond, especially with this UN stuff. I previously had a similar role with UN, and I understand sometimes it feels like you're in a system that makes no sense because of the grand scale of the bureaucracy and the challenges. Yeah. But hold your own truth strong there, and I'm sure you'll prevail.
Aloha, Mike. Thank you so much.
Sister Maria?
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for taking your time and going out there in the rain to share with us. I'm so inspired. Thank you so much. And all the best with your trip down to the UN. And yes, hold your ground, like Mike said. Thank you.
Thank
and
you
thanks
guys.
for setting this up, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, guys.
One last thank you. This for us is called a ho'ailona. On the temple speaking and rain comes. For us, when we look at this, when rain comes, new growth, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, everything sprouts. So for me, it was beautiful. The meeting was consistent with my experience at home. So thank you guys so much. Ola kane ya iluni kalani o kane hi ka honua ya kane hi ke o pure ori o kane e kane ke o kua ora e oro o kane ua kapu ke ora na kane ka lani ka honua ua kapu no kane mahalo.